is this morning. Today is Thursday, the 4th day of September 2025. And you are watching Signature Morning on Signature TV. Lillian.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very good. I love your dress. The color is popping.
Thank you. So, yesterday we had the breaking story about the accident that occurred at the Enugu-Port Harcourt Express Road.
Yeah.
That was quite a sad one.
And
just shortly after that, another accident happened along that same road. Another fatal accident.
I do not understand what is happening. This expressway, I wish everybody would, be cautious, know your lane, mind your business.
Well, these things are not planned, but it's so sad that lives were lost.
God help us.
And may their souls rest in peace.
Amen.
All right, and yes, you are watching Signature Morning. I am Uchenna Chimdi Oluoha.
I am Lillian Wali.
Up next is our newspaper headlines and review. Welcome back, and we're starting with the Guardian newspaper. On the headlines on page 6, we have insecurity. FG reopens debate on state police as Tinubu declares readiness.
And ADC faults Tinubu's charity plan for National Library. That's on page 5.
Non-oil growth accounts for 20 trillion naira income, says President.
DSS arraigns 9 suspects over Benue Plateau killings.
Constitution review. Abbas unveils proposed amendments to Southern stakeholders.
And poly lectures may withdraw services after ultimatum.
Airline operators defend discriminatory expensive Yuletide flight tickets.
Contractors storm Abuja, demand 4 trillion naira payment for completed projects.
Digital lenders face 100 million naira fine for consumer abuse, data privacy violations.
Looking at the Punch newspaper, it says APC opposition clash over FG's revenue growth claim. That's on page 2. Present counterfact, presidency tells critics. Revenue nothing without results, says opposition. Economics query Tinubu's no more borrowing assertion amid 13 trillion naira deficit.
On page 12, security concerns behind visa cancellations for Nigerians, others, says US. And on page 7, Tinubu says, my reforms have restored Nigeria's global respect.
Non-oil revenue jumps 40% to 20.6 trillion naira, says presidency. And NAD insists on strike, says over 2,000 doctors owed. That's on page 7.
Now, still on page 7, the UN says terrorists recruited 1,364 West African children, shot 14,000 schools.
MTN, 15 others remit 54 billion naira in education, police taxes. That's on page 19. And 3 killed in Lagos Masquerade Festival clash.
Now to the Daily Trust newspaper. On the headlines, we have, I can end banditry in 2 months. This is from Zamfara government. On pages 3, 4, and 6, he says, I swear to Almighty Allah, wherever a bandit's leader is located within Zamfara state, I know it, and if he goes out, I know. With my mobile phone, I can show you where these bandits are today.
And Northern Elders Forum calls for state of emergency on insecurity. Northeast governors meet Tinubu seek oil exploration and roads completion.
FG introduces AI robotics in new curriculum, and touts chase couple to death in Abuja on page 28.
And on Tribune newspaper, my thoughts about state police by Tinubu, that's on page 4. Police engage armed robbers in gun duel, kill one, another critically injured in Ibadan.
DSS arraigns 9 suspects over Benue Plateau killings. How leading global corporations compete with Nigeria's $1 trillion economy target.
And on health matters, genetic testing of IVF embryos can help women with infertility conceive faster. And Adejo B Force PRO transferred to Delta as DCP operators, page 19.
Now on the Daily Times newspaper on page 2, DSS arraigns 9 suspects over Benue Plateau killings.
FCTA revokes all park allocations in Abuja, others fresh screening, that's on page 15.
Rescued Nigerian girl warns youth against irregular migration.
Corruption has eroded Nigeria's economic prosperity, Kathan House report says.
National Library, Nigeria's intellectual heritage must not depend on charity, ADC tells First Lady.
And U.S. government commits $32.5 million to UN World Food Programs in Nigeria.
And finally, on the Daily Times, Nigeria ranks second in global cryptocurrency adoption on page 10. And that is the much we can take on our newspaper headlines this morning, and over to our review with Chris Maduka. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Uche, and good morning, Lillian.
Good morning, Chris. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and I hope to do better.
Yes.
By the grace of God.
You're welcome.
Welcome to another day on Signature TV newspaper review. Okay, we're starting with the Guardian.
Yes.
The Guardian newspaper. Conscience nurtured by truth. Still looking at that. Guardian, look at that motto. Conscience nurtured by truth. I think Nigeria, whatever is happening in Nigeria, is beginning to change that tagline. Okay, but that's by the way. FG reopened debate on state police as Tinubu declares readiness.
Yes.
You know, and he said, and that was in the last newspaper we reviewed, he was saying something about, I have looked at every situation, I have looked more carefully at the security situation in Nigeria. Mm-hmm. I see the effort of civilian JTFs and communities. This has again provoked my thinking on state police. We can work out with the National Assembly to design a framework that guarantee local ownership while ensuring political neutrality. Political neutrality, communities and JTFs doing wonderful, and now the federal government is revisiting state police. This is all we have said here.
Yes.
Since the beginning of this year, we've been saying that there's no way we can do without state police. And I've said here severally that we are running state police, and our dear president has confirmed that. With JTF, who arrest criminals and fight them in their enclaves, bring them out, hand over to police. With a motor cruise in all the southwest regions of Nigeria, with ESN, Abubagu, or whatever name they go with in southeast.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? Is it because we name state police? Even with the framework these vigilante groups and community vigilante services have rendered, the federal government can study it very well. It has never interfered with the work of the federal police we have. Meaning, we can replicate what is good. My father said, it's only something that is good that you replicate. You cannot replicate what is bad. If these people, because of the exigency of security in our own time, has found out that they can defend themselves, forming groups with their guns, bows and arrows, they could at least still find life to live in their community. In some of the communities, in some cases, they're overwhelmed that they lose their lives, yes. But it will be worse when we just stand docile, waiting for overrated Nigerian police, that even the National Assembly members don't allow their members to stay. The only one of them have a retinue of police who are guarding them, their quarters, following them in their, wherever they go in their convoy, everywhere. So where are the remaining ones? Why are we still waiting on state police? Because of political neutrality? It's we our own police. It's we, even the federal police are not politically neutral. So what are we talking about? When we want to leave, we really have to talk the bull by the horn. The need for state police can never be overemphasized. No matter who you think want to use them for political, after all, go and tell the politicians know that they are the people who will use the police. Why not tell them? Why are we throwing the baby away with the bathwater? So thank you, Mr. President. That is a very good one. For once in a while, you are thinking along the line of some of us that are afraid of the security situation of Nigeria, the way it has degenerated to this level. So this shows you also thinking along the line that you want us. And since you want to return in 2027 for second tenure, it is only Nigerians who are alive who will vote for you.
Of course.
Simple. And we have a politician that think they will just hide in Abuja with the little number of policemen we have in Nigerian police force, and then visit the localities, fly in into the cities, have multiple convoys, touching their doors and then off. And they're waiting for us to come to the polls to vote for them. They should think twice. Because even in this 2007 election, the thing that I started talking and the way they are behaving is not encouraging only Nigerians to come. Unless INEC will come out now. I don't even know what INEC will tell Nigerians.
They will do.
Because only three we see with all those threats of people filming fire, even in intra-party. Fire, tough. And then you see all those in only trees, we see that one, you stick out your neck, say you are Nigerian illiterate with hunger and hardship to go and take risk to do what? And we are waiting.
Well,
nobody has even talked about safety of voters since they started talking about defection, coalition, whatever thing they've been talking, nobody has talked about. How do we protect these people who are expecting to come and vote for us? Now we tell you that an average politician in Nigeria is selfish to 10th level before you think about anything. It's just me. And that's the difference between us and them. But no problem. 2010 we'll be there. By God's grace, with what the president is doing now, maybe we'll be alive to then to vote.
All right, let's see. APC opposition clash over FG's revenue growth claim. They are querying Tinubu's no more borrowing assertion amid, the deficit, 13 trillion naira deficit.
The attack dogs from the presidency has said show evidence, and people said, which other evidence we need? With 13 trillion deficit, you say you have reached target, you're no more borrowing. You have a deficit. That's what the same thing I said yesterday. Obi has gone to army, yes. Obi, where is your boot? Okay, federal government has, but they even shot themselves on the leg with the word the newspaper carried the news yesterday. When they said they don't borrow again from local banks, that means you read target not to borrow, but you can borrow from international banks. Of course, no local bank can satisfy the appetite of federal government in borrowing. The last 2 years that this present government has come, the appetite for borrowing, no local bank can satisfy. So when they say they've reached their target, maybe they have find out that no local bank can satisfy. But even when some people say they now the presidency is now seeing it as opposition, but they are the people who came out and said we are now saturated, we have gotten to a level, a cruising level that we no more borrow. And they go and add the tagline from local banks. If they say they don't borrow from anywhere again, we would have looked at it more objectively. But now it means they don't borrow from local banks, they can still borrow from foreign banks. And this borrowing, people say, with 13 trillion deficit, where are we? If 10 is not at home, if 10 enter your pocket, it will disappear. Now that you have 13 trillion, so what is it? We are still waiting. There have been some signs of growth, but with the level of our debt profile, I don't know, because each time we want to grow the debt profile, we talk at our growth and say, hey, remember, you look back and you go, that is the danger of debt. Debt. Only go mochog. If you owe, if your children do not pay, your children will. The desire is that you must pay. So if you are borrowing, just know that it's you that will pay. That's it.
So NAD says, NAD insists on strike, says over 2,000 doctors have been owed.
Too many strike trades in one small Nigeria. ASU,
At NFC.
Polytechnic, medical doctors, NLC. So that will tell you why. So I don't know why, but like I said, I'm sorry, but this is my opinion. I'm reading newspaper headline, the things that you put two and two together. Why this penchant for us at the mid-term of this administration, all that the federal government and everybody who is aligned to them is talking about is 2027. It is, to my suspicion, the act that is at home that has gone to tell the one in the bush there's a meat in the fire. Now, if federal government has kept quiet and they wait for 2027 to come before this issue of the moves and all, maybe probably everybody would have kept quiet, because most of those people know that only when you get a giant to succumb is only when you hold the giant down. If any politician you are talking with, at the point he needs you did not get in to do your bid, forget it. The politicians, especially Nigerian politicians, will give you what they call the bicycle man greeting. Have a bicycle man visited your house before? When you escort him, you got to a point where you want to go, you say bye-bye. The man will give you the backside, and then that's Nigerian politicians. So nobody blames MLC, nobody is blaming ASU, nobody is blaming NAD. But it's only at this time that your paying charge for 2027 is so high. That's why you bring in and say, remember also, we don't hear. And if they don't do that, they know what it means. So it's only at the point, if you hold them down, then what is happening? So more people will come and demand. Because my father said, whenever a criminal gets ready to bury his mother, the people that their things are missing will be showing faces. So maybe he's using my chair to do a reception, and that is it. So something has made all this penchant for demand for and the threat of strikes and strikes. Somebody brought it. And if you ask me, federal government of Nigeria, without missing word, they started it. And I said it here. Several times. The way I see it going, more associations, more essential service people, service deliverers and bearers will come up. Like I said, so let's move on.
So, moving over to Daily Trust, there is something striking here. I can end banditry in 2 months.
That sounds so encouraging. Okay. And now we now say, somebody say, you sat in the house, somebody prepared very nice the goosey soup. We taste them, it tastes good. And then you prepare good pounded yam, and then it looks, malleable and soft. So what is left? The governor of affairs, with my phone, I know every location of the bandits.
My question is, if he knows all this, if he has all this information, why is he saying?
You are preempting me. You are preempting me. And we have Nigerian police, we have the DSS, we have Nigerian Air Force, we have Nigerian Army, we have the Civil Defense, we have, and the governor, the Chief Security Officer, with what bandits are doing. I read unofficially where a community in Zamfara said they declared allegiance to bandits. Those are the ones they know that now govern their community. And most communities in some of these serious security threat areas have declared, because they pay tax to them, they pay to go to farm, and they come anytime and hold them to ransom and so many things. They now declare to be alive, you do whatever you can. Now, If the governor of the state, who is the chief security officer, as it were, knows where these things, what are our security agencies waiting for? What do they want the man to tell them again? That you know and I know where these people are. It's only to fight them that we don't have the willpower, or is it the technical power? Whichever power we lack as one of the biggest black nations in Africa to fight them. Something is wrong. When truth is subdued, somebody's sperm has been greased, either with oil, or with dollar, or euro, or naira, or whatever you grease, whatever that has grease, that you grease somebody's, would have happened. And that is the proverb of bone and silence. The security agencies of Nigeria should look at. These are the governors who receive, because they receive highly security information. And the governor has come out in the open, in public newspaper and said this. They should be invited and get some security information that help the security agencies to do some job. Otherwise, we'll be running around the circle, telling ourselves lies, pretending, and only God knows who is saying the truth. But we know that when a lot of people believe that we have something it takes to fight back, this is a full-blown war. It's no more hit me here and I hit you here. These are people who are come out killing Nigerians on daily basis. We count numbers, and the federal government and state government and local government are tired of writing those the state government morals. These one they condemn killing. They're tired of sending such messages. What we are waiting them for now is to say, if shit go in the open for too long, he said, what? This is what? Carry spread. Have a heap of sand. Cover it. Once and for all. That is what is left. It's when we make that have a strong political way to do it. That's what I'm waiting for. Because you talk like this, if it's not tribally profiling criminality, is it outside, is it for another? But talking and talking and talking. But when you go to Abuja to get corrupt on Nigerian money, they will forget all this trash. We have not told ourselves the truth as a nation. If we do, God will act. God is looking at Nigeria, telling ourselves lies and still believing that we survive in lies. I've never seen any nation that get themselves together talking lies, from National Assembly to State Assembly to local government council groups, telling ourselves lies and hoping that lies will build our nation. It's not going to work.
Now, there's one interesting one I saw, something about ADC faults Tinubu's charity plan for National Library. And this is how it was said in the Guardian newspaper. Now, on the Daily Times, it says, National Library, Nigeria's intellectual heritage must not depend on charity, ADC tells First Lady.
Well, if the National Library, I don't know under what ministry falls on, overlook, maybe Ministry of Education, it's not an organization or federal agency that will survive on tokenism. When First Lady wake up and he said, hey, okay, let us give Federal Library, give them $1 billion. There's a politician around us who never pronounce billion like that. Now, that's not what they are saying. So, because anything you say now is like, you're supporting APC or not. But I also think that so many things they put together, you brainstorm and say, there's some element of truth. How can federal agency like the Federal Library survive? You know what I mean? If you enter Federal Library, to sustain that, no amount of tokenism, it must be sustained on effective and active budget implemented. Yeah. It must be reflected as subject head in every budget of Ministry of Education, or Ministry of Internal Affairs, or whatever ministry that is having oversight function. It should even, because it's a federal agency, should have a separate subheading on its own to be managed. Otherwise, very soon it become a monumental, what do you call it, archive material. You can imagine what that means. And then, so maybe the federal First Lady has been touched when you look at it. But that touch and that philanthropism he has shown to do that has called us to think. And the question is, can Federal Library of Nigeria survive on tokenism? No. if you want, whatever you want to look at it, whether it's the OBC that said it, or APC that said it, or PDP that said it, you look at it that there's some element of truth that Federal Library cannot survive on tokenism. I'll just say, when you feel happy, you dash them all those things they used to do to press boys. When they get money, press boys will come and cover, and they will give one frap, some envelopes. So pressmen will follow them, and they will settle them, sign and collect 3,000. Meanwhile, they may have done an event that covers billions of naira, and they think pressmen are not looking for. When there's a little break, they will go and look for pressmen to say they say this, say that. We as pressmen see so many things. It's not that of gagging that making us know, because when we say, oh, we see this Nigeria will catch fire. So then they know it's not only that they know how to set fire or talk tough. If press, if it's not only this intimidation and censorship will fine, begin to say what we see in Nigeria. Nigeria will catch fire. And they will talk about the press terrorism. Because terrorism can be used by anybody. Anyway, let's move on. We in the press are not, we are not there unless what happened in the recent past, continue the recent. Yes,
From the Daily Times, DSS arraigned 9 suspects over Benue Plateau killings.
Good news. But what we're talking about still follows slow nature of Nigerian criminal justice. You know, there are people talk about over 500 people killed in that town, community in Benue, and other killings that are going on. After 1 month, you release one information, 9 suspects. There's one, over the last 2 weeks, there was one information that came up, somebody, one suspect arrested, now they've reached 9. Now, it may be they will do like that in the next 6 months, they'll be reporting who, people who have been offended and demanding justice. We want it fast. Justice delayed. I said it yesterday and I say it again. Justice delayed is a justice denied. If the people who lost, a family in there lost 12 people, so you can imagine a community, some people lost 20 people, so they can't even lay count. After the Hula president visit and went and all that, even small started to imagine that they only scratched the surface. They were trying to sound politically correct. Because even in Benue State itself, the governor announced the number of people killed in that community. Nigeria will be like, no, everybody will want to japa. So they want to control information. Beautiful. We are saying, are you also controlling the justice? Why not hasten the justice? Let people who are involved get punished as soon as the thing is still hot and fresh. The bombing of our Catholic Church after how many years? Only last 2 weeks that we heard that those people have been arraigned. Do you imagine that?
Well, Chris, we have to end it here for now. But
if you say so, I cannot doubt it. Especially when beautiful girls are talking to me, I normally obey quickly.
Oh, wow.
So thank you for this edition of Newspaper Headlines, and God bless all those who have watched and listened. God bless Nigeria, particularly for those who deserve to be blessed. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Chris Maduka. And this is where we press pause on our newspaper headlines and newspaper review. Do stay tuned because more conversation is coming your way.